Hi, my name is Eddie Santos. I'm a retired Army Sergeant with more than 23 years, and I am a disabled vet. I've been all over the place trying to get assistance for my disability. And as for right now, the only person that seemed to help me out was when I went to the congressman's office, tried to get some assistance for him to help me get my prosthetic leg fixed. So finally the congressman had me the opportunity to go to Palo Alto in San Jose, California, where they finally fixed my prosthetic. If you need help and you seem to not get it anywhere, you should go see our congressman with the people he has there to help us veterans get what we need and what we deserve for doing our time in service for the freedom of our island and for our country.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today.
Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, tasted their food and everything, we definitely used them again because their service and food is just awesome.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away.
Because we are
real and direct.
No interest owns us.
And we have no interest but the truth.
Together we are exposing
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together
we are fighting violence
against women and children.
We here at
Candid will shine the light
on every corner of darkness.
Together we are giving a voice
to the voiceless
and forgotten.
Stay lit.
Together.
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 We are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Candid News Group.
Buenas Marianas and Micronesia. And let me get my microphone. Sorry, guys. Buenas Marianas and Micronesia. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
Welcome to our studios here in Tumon, Guam, and thank you for joining us tonight. And I'm sorry about, I'm wearing a hat. I know people are like, you guys got to do the professional thing. And no, I am not going to stop smoking. But I'm trying to be professional. The hat is because I do not have access to the governor's hair friend. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, like I've got this bushy Palauan hair going on and I'm badly, is part tier 1 of the openings gonna include salons?
You mean P-Core?
Yeah.
I think it's P-Core 2.
Is salons, so P-Core 3 is not salons?
Don't quote me, I don't know. I didn't read that.
Son of a gun.
I think the salons don't open until P-Core 69.
P-Core 69? There won't be any 69 with the way my hair looks. So it has been a busy day, I'm sure, at the governor's office. They didn't even have a press conference, right?
We wouldn't know because they're quiet. So we wouldn't know if they were busy or not.
So, but before we get to any of that news stuff, there are, stand by, I'm getting it out. Can you see my screen, Shalom?
Yes, sir.
We have videos from Robert Suzuki Jr. on his TikTok.
AKA Chubby Robbie.
Yep, on TikTok. Here, let's play the music one first. Go ahead and cast to my screen. And then, this one is not a dance. And then what?
Troy inspired a TikTok.
No. There's another Robert Suzuki one before we play the other TikTok one. So this one, there's no dancing or anything, but it's just super. This guy is so talented. Check this out.
Things that turn more people on to the mom. When you can now start cooking off for Steve.
That guy is so funny, man. Okay. So, Brandy Hall's sister made a TikTok, and I don't know if like the people, because this has been going around social media. It's that what do you call it? Parody? Is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it's parody, right? Parody. Mm-hmm. We did no, we just straight up made it up. Of Governor Lou Leon Girl talking
that was
to a
made
reporter.
That day, minutes before they went on.
Yes.
Or we went on.
It was impromptu.
Yeah.
It was impromptu. Oh, we decided to do it.
Yeah.
We went on.
Eric prepared that picture with the lips, and then there was no script or anything. Troy just went off.
So check this out. This is. I love this so much. Go ahead and cast to my screen.
My dear people of Guam, first of all, I want to say to you today, before any of you ask me any questions, and Janella is here. She's Tagalog, but that's okay. That's okay. She's here to stop you from asking me stupid questions. But I just want to tell you that your money is coming. I'm going to give you your money. It came from me. And it's going to be the federal. And I don't know about this investigation. Linda did that, and Tony was there, and maybe Janella was with him. I don't know. But put fan use fabuloso and not Lysol next time. My dear people.
I love you all so much.
That, all of this makes our day a little bit brighter.
Well, we're not the ones who need the joy in our lives. The governor's office needs that. Classic governor's office response, though, to the world of absolute dung that they are in right now. And, the investigation into Linda Denorsi, the possible investigation by the federal government into Hai Hyun, and the governor's office, maybe even going as high as Governor Lou Leon Guerrero for those contracts. Classic governor's office, classic politicians. They're like, guess what, guys? We got $544,000 in tax refunds coming out.
All of a sudden.
Up to January 10th.
Like,
I didn't know we can file on that day.
Look at this shiny cubic zirconia for the squirrel. and then they announced some plan that has they're gonna give $500 or something to people who qualify for the pandemic, unemployment, blah blah blah. It's local funding and it's holdover money until they can get the program right with the pandemic
it's the
unemployment
shut your
thing.
mouth right now and let me finish my contract.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's
Oh my goodness, Janella, they're very mad at me right now. They're very mad at me right now because you and Carlo
And Tony don't know how to keep it in your pants.
But let's be very clear. Let's be very clear about that whole. First of all, this pandemic, this local pandemic money thing, is utilizing the $147 million that came in for that could be used. Congress said it could be used for housing for the poor and the homeless, the under. What do you call it? You're not necessarily on the streets homeless, but you just cannot afford, so you have to live with someone else. That kind of homeless. Food, and we're gonna have a story about that tonight, about the food situation, which is a very sad story. Education, transportation, basically
Testing.
things to help. Yes, testing, things to help people during this very troubling time. Congress had the foresight to provide this funding to the states and the territories. So the governor is going to be tapping into that to pay for a federal program that has its own funding source, but that GovGuam can't tap into right now because of the incompetence of the administration, their inability to get that program rolling. Now they're going to say, oh, none of the other territories are doing it. Why do we benchmark ourselves against the other territories? How about we benchmark ourselves against the needs of the people of our island rather than, let's give ourselves an excuse because it's not ready in the other territories as well. So what? We don't live in the other territories. For the people of the CNMI and for Guam, we expect that our governors are benchmarking their progress on the needs of our people. And so Governor Leon Guerrero is trying to shine a shiny object in front of everyone with this holdover money. But guess what? The way they want to do it is so stupid. They want to have employers who have furloughed.
Like me, let's say I'm the boss, I own the company, and Troy and Eric work for me.
And you furloughed
And
us.
I furloughed you. They want me to go and apply on their website to say Troy and Eric with Social Security, this and that, was furloughed in March.
And this is how much they were making.
And this is what they're making. So the government is going to write me as the employer a check for $500 for Troy and $500 for Eric. And that's how they want you to shut up for now.
Yeah, but how are they going to know whether the employer gave that money to the employee who was furloughed? And how did they expect for the employer to be the one responsible for calling the employee that they furloughed?
And who pays those man hours for me processing the 2 checks that I need to process?
This was not thought through. This was rushed because they needed something. They needed a win, a political win, to get the stench off of them. But you know what? This thing is spiraling. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio today tried his best. He said, I apologize. He said, Janella and Carlos should apologize. And we'll get to that story. But the comments that I'm seeing all over the place are, it is too little too late. It's just too little too late. So why don't we go into, I don't even know what our first story is. Hold on 1 second. There's like a bunch of stuff that happened today. I apologize tonight for not being too ready. First of all, the legislature is going to be in session tomorrow. At 10 a.m., Kandit is going to host it.
Restock your bar.
Get your tequila ready, because it's Cinco de Mayo. We're going to play a game that we've been playing in the last few sessions. It is, every time the legislature recesses, we take a shot. Now, I think senators and their staffs, they were watching.
Last session, I had a overdose on, I had alcohol poisoning.
Well, you didn't, but I did.
Yeah. No, I'm joking about it. I didn't drink. I don't drink. But how many was it, Prim? 40 what?
69.
It
no,
was
it was not 69. Stop lying to me.
It was in the 40s.
40 something.
In one day. In one day. Right? Oh no, that was like accumulation.
And Bula amendments.
So the legislature is going to be talking about, we don't know yet because there's no session, but we do know that there's going to be an attempt to override the governor's veto bill 333. That is Senator Therese Terlahi's bill. which is, among other things, requires transparency and accountability from the governor. It mandates that reports of expenditures and contracts be sent to the legislature at least once a month, 20 days after the start of the month. That's what the bill reads. And it also places some deadlines on the administration in order for the administration to fast track the cash assistance and the pandemic unemployment assistance. I'm choking on Pugo right now. And so they're going to try to get that overridden. Senator James Moylan wants to put his Bill 350 on the agenda. There's I don't know if that's the bill that like adds, I think it adds $800 on top of the $1,200, right? Excuse me.
They hit the spot or what, Chalo?
It's not Corona.
Oh, right,
It's
right.
Pugwa. It's Ugam. It's fresh too. Senator Tello Taitigui is demanding an oversight about all of this stuff about federal expenditures and contracts. I can't remember what Speaker Tina Mooney Barnes wants to do, but senators, I'm sure, are going to jockey for their bills to get onto the agenda. Now, whether these bills mean anything to the people of Guam is another subject, but what some senators are looking at is curbing the governor's power. And Senator James Moylan wants to revoke the public health emergency altogether, just as long as he gets FEMA guidance that is not going to jeopardize federal funds. And Senator Therese Terlahi believes that revoking it altogether is premature right now, but she wants to limit the governor's powers. She definitely wants to do that.
Well, you warned them in the beginning before she declared the emergency.
Yeah. And Senator Tello Taitigui along the same lines as Senator Therese Terlahi. And so that's what's going to happen we don't know what's going to happen in the session tomorrow, but that's what we hope happens in the session tomorrow, is that they start addressing things like that. And
I'm pretty sure from the last session, because we covered it and we had commentary and whatever, I'm pretty sure the legislature knows, like, it's there. No one has been watching them the way we are watching them. So I'm pretty sure they're going to act right and do what needs to get done.
One of the things that I'm sure many of you have considered is the lack of local programs to help people at this time. And when the legislature last went into session, it hardly did anything to address the COVID-19 crisis. Congress, the House of Representatives alone passed 4 federal stimulus or COVID-19 related measures. State legislatures have been passing measures to help their local people. The government of Guam, the Guam legislature, has not done something similar. The Commonwealth legislature is entertaining measures to help their people.
If I was the governor, I would have called
Things
up.
will be very good right now.
Everybody,
very good right now.
everybody's gonna get something.
And they're gonna get masaulek and their own, and yeah.
Anyways, I would have called the other governors and asked them how they wrote out their plan. Or I would have called the congressman, because we would have a great relationship, right? And be like, hey, do you think you can help me figure this out? Because my illegal counsel, not my legal counsel, my illegal counsel doesn't know what he is doing. My son-in-law.
So, and the sad thing about this is that there's money. The $147 million, like we were talking about, Congress said, Congress encouraged state legislatures and governors to use this funding to feed people, because they had the foresight to understand that people, especially those who had jobs prior to the emergency, had savings, don't qualify for food stamps, and those in the upper rings of the middle class, they're the ones who might be out of luck, and so we're seeing it now.
And Talina Nelson also said, hey, public health, food stamp department, where are you in the application process? Because the governor told the people, apply for food stamp. They applied, and up to now, Still nothing.
Yeah, the processing is taking long. So Johnny started a program with Candid. It's a simple program, but it is both physically and mentally draining because of. Well, why don't you explain the program?
People from Candid, our viewers, people who want to help, have reached out and donated food items and hygiene products. And since last Thursday, I've been putting it together and meeting people, picking up groceries. On Saturday, I got a phone call to meet someone at the store. I met the person, they gave me the groceries, and by the time from I left that store until I got home to get ready for our photo shoot, the food was gone already because I delivered to 3 people on my way home.
Well,
you know?
why don't you describe the scene when you moved into one condo complex?
Oh, families were outside. I had to meet a family all the way in. So I as I was driving in, I'm looking around and I see families that are outside of their apartment, and I say to myself, let me stop at this place on my way out to see if they needed groceries. So after I met the person I was supposed to meet, I came out and I barged, up there, and I was polite, and I just asked if they needed some help. And the lady needed help.
And there was a baby, just with diapers and saggy diapers.
No saggy diapers.
Oh.
Just, they were outside. You could tell they were just hanging out. It's COVID, everybody has to stay home. And I just felt like I needed to, something told me to stop there.
But they were hungry.
Yes. They needed help.
And so thanks to a bunch of, what do you call them, angels or Santa
And you
Claus
would,
or whatever?
angels that have one leg.
Wow.
Angels that have nothing. They're living in their car, has donated something to Candid for these families in need.
Yeah.
So everybody's coming together. If you are one of them that needs help, please contact me at 797-7082. We will not take your picture and put it on social media. Most of our donors want to be kept anonymous.
Yeah.
So none of these donors want to be pictured or for show. So none of that's going to happen here, unless you want to take a picture of yourself and send it and say thank you. But other than that, most of our donors want to remain anonymous.
And they're just, it's just
amazing.
So sweet. Yeah.
And all thanks to our governor.
So there is no, we
But I can
double-checked-
honestly say, Troy, because we are all having a hard time, I wouldn't want to have a hard time anywhere else but here.
Yep.
The Guam people, the people of Guam, they all come together and help each other. And that's what I love about our culture.
Well, we double-checked with the Joint Information Center today and found out that, yes, the only program that is available is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Of course, the associated Women and Infants and Children program, the WIC program, and the daily hot lunches that DOE provides, which is not enough already. There are no local programs.
None.
And it's been 6 weeks now. There apparently has been no plan to stand one up. $147 million and not a single cent allocated for food for people in need. It's just such a sad thing. And so luckily, there are people out there, normal citizens, who have hearts that are way bigger than the administration's when it comes to these people. And maybe it isn't a matter of the administration doesn't have a heart, but they just don't.
They don't get it. They're disconnected.
Yeah. It's just so sad. And I didn't want to tell that story because I wouldn't be able to make it through that story. So there is that. Well, I'm looking at our lineup, making sure I'm not missing anything.
Troy, do you want to announce this or no?
What's that?
The GPD put out an APB out
Go
on
ahead.
someone.
Yeah, can you?
You need to open this on yours so they can see the picture.
Oh, I don't want to get off my WhatsApp thing because my lineup is there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to send it to Eric and I'll just go on to the next story.
Okay.
Grim,
Yeah.
say your number one more time for Donna Marie.
My number is 797-7082.
Oh, maybe I'll read comments while you send it to Eric, and Eric can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
So let's get to your comments. I saw some really good ones. Buenas, Denise. Denise says, it is mentally draining. You destroy your mental health because you can no longer provide for your family like you used to. It has been a horrible situation. God bless those who donated and helped families like mine. Love, I am forever grateful. Thanks for sharing that, Denise. Susan Redeb says, thank you, Johnny Nakamura. Bran Acavera says, the rich just want to get richer. John Lazama says, when leadership is nowhere to be found, the people will rise up and take care of each other. Yeah, we got to take care of the situation of leadership. I see a lot of recall, impeach stuff, and maybe that is where things are headed. Yeah. Dave Duenas says, so true, Johnny. Jackie Castro says, what happened to the food commodities in PD? What happened to that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Did they have to shut? I remember John talking about that.
They did it, and then they shut it down. They did it, they shut it down, they opened it up again, and then it shut down again.
Because of COVID? Was that the reason?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And the governor should call Hawaii's governor and ask them how they were able to give their residents 50 pounds of food per car. Yeah. Even though the people lined up for hours, they were able to get 50 pounds worth of food per family, per car.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Troy, can you explain the program? I remember you on the phone with someone last week that all you have to do is go to the mayor's. The mayor gives you coupons or something. The mayor knows whose houses they need to go to give the coupons. Me. Yes.
Well, I don't remember it at all then. I don't think that was me.
The person has almost the same name as me.
I don't think so.
His name is John.
I don't remember it at all.
Oh.
Maybe it was Eric.
No, it was you.
Are you
sure?
Were
talking about the government providing coupons for them to go to the store and buy groceries with that coupon. You cannot buy tobacco products or...
Oh, yeah.
See that?
But you explain it because I don't remember the whole conversation.
Never mind. My baby's watching. Hi, my son. So proud of you. I love you so much. I really miss you guys.
Do you have, Marshall R.C. Jr. says impeachment needs to be done. Dave Uggan says the food commodities program is closed. John Azama says if the people want to make a point, they should take all their money out of Bank of Guam and do business elsewhere. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just go to Community First in Tamuning or Dededo, and you can open your bank account there and switch over. San Lamar Quinn says for families in need, you can also go to the Red Cross. Oh, I think someone told me Salvation Army also is doing something. Betty Duke says it's drive up only from Hawaii.
Yeah. Drive up and they give you 50 pounds of food.
Ronica Marvica Sinicla says, thank you, Kandit, Crew, Troy, and Johnny. Love how straightforward, blunt you both are getting answers for the people and how you put joy and laughter into the news. Hope and strength is what you give the people. Well, that's really sweet. Thank you. Shanessa continues and says, it's so sad how the people are doing more for each other than this dumb governor. Amen there, sister. Amen. Don Lastimosa says, thank you for your service, Johnny.
No, honestly, I haven't personally donated. It's so overwhelming because the pouring in of donations is really, right now, there's no need for me to donate, honestly. I'm just the vessel. So if this is how God's gonna use me, I don't mind. I don't mind one bit. I just need to remember to put my mask on. Cause yeah.
Does he have the thing
I sent it.
Do you have that ready to go? Or should we go to the next story first?
It's the picture, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the picture of the guy, and then I'll say what.
There's an APB on this guy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. Is this involved in the murder?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
No, they're not saying it's the murder, but
so it
says
could be something
injured
else.
Persons, right? So
not a dead person.
No, but
Okay.
you know how GPD is, right? APB, suspect wanted in questioning for an injured person's investigation. Be on the lookout for a male by the name of John or Juan Faisal Mendiola, 56 years of age, 5'9" in height and about 200 pounds. Dark complexion, short black hair, unknown attire. Last seen operating a 2005 to 2014 black Toyota Tacoma crew cab with heavy tint. Unknown license plate. In the Barragata area at 7 a.m. to this time and this date. Suspect is to be armed with a silver with light colored handle large caliber revolver. If located, contact Sergeant E.C. Choffers or Detective J.H. Edwards. And it doesn't leave the number.
Oh.
So if you,
I guess 911?
Yeah.
Call 911? What's his name?
His name is John or Juan Faisal Mendiola.
And he's wanted for questioning an injured person's incident?
What? Yeah.
Now, there was a raid in Barragata earlier today.
That's connected to him,
So
to find him.
Oh,
But I guess
okay.
he wasn't there.
Okay. And I was told by a source that several cars were impounded at that raid, so it almost looked like a drug raid, but then a couple other sources told us that was a search for this guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so the police are looking for that guy. He's considered armed and dangerous.
Wow, it's so sad. And the person who died, they haven't released the name yet, right?
Nothing.
Okay.
That's all they're giving us.
Okay. Well, earlier today, we actually, first thing in the morning, we woke up to a retweet, or not a retweet, but
An answer to
a
our
response
tweet.
to a tweet that we sent to Abbott.
Direct message.
It was a direct message telling us that we had a tweet from them.
Okay.
It was from Abbott Laboratories. Now, on April 14, Abbott, they're the manufacturer of the testing machine called the Abbott ID Now, which is, so when you go and get swabbed for coronavirus, they put the swab on your nostril, they get the specimen, and then on Guam, because the machine is housed at the Public Health Laboratory in Sumuning, you get your test done at a clinic or a public health lab, or Public Health Northern, or wherever you get the test done, it's not at the laboratory itself. So what they do is when they collect the specimen, they put it into a vial that has 1 milliliter dilution. It's a liquid. And then they transport that vial to the Public Health Laboratory
In Sumuning.
in Sumuning, and then they take it out of the vial and put it into the machine, and within 15 minutes you get either a positive or a negative. On April 14, Abbott Laboratories sent an urgent notice to its customers around the world, saying don't do that anymore, because a study in Atlanta is showing that it makes the test unreliable. It will produce false negatives.
Negatives, right.
And so on April, I want to say 20th, on April 20th, we brought this to Public Health and the governor's office's attention, and we asked, it was April 22nd, and we asked, are you guys going to retest everyone in the last couple of weeks, and are you going to now change your method of testing? And they didn't get back to us that day, but the following day they JIC release number 88, and in that release they say, you know what, we don't use a 3 milliliter dilution, we only use a 1 milliliter dilution, and the trainer from Abbott, who's on Guam, told us that we're doing it the right way, and that's why our test is just perfect. And they released that to the media after media questions regarding the efficacy of the 1 milliliter dilution method because what Abbott is saying is you're supposed to take the specimen and put it directly into the machine to conduct the test there. And that's when the results are a little more accurate. But if you dilute it, it reduces the accuracy of the test by 14%, which is apparently a very big deal in the scientific community. It's like, scientists say that makes the test junk. And so the Leon Guerrero administration digs in their heels. I don't know, out of pride or stubbornness or whatever, but they don't change their method, and they say, oh, you know, we've been doing it right, and we're going to continue doing it this way. So on May 1, we sent a tweet to Abbott
And
Laboratories.
we send a tweet because of all the negatives all the time.
Yeah.
Every day they're negative. But the other DLS and the Navy testing places, they're getting positives. Public health on Guam is all negative.
Yeah.
Zero.
And interestingly, the other places are not using the Abbott ID machine. They're using the South Korea one.
Yeah.
And other machines that in that Atlanta study showed to be much more reliable than the Abbott machine. But that's a whole story that Kandit is going to bring you involving another corrupt scheme between the government of Guam and GRMC. And this is where that story is headed, and we just haven't produced it yet. But on May 1, after all of these days had passed, we tweeted Abbott Laboratories, is it acceptable to use a 1 milliliter transport solution with the swabs when running tests on the ID Now machine? And this morning at 3:30 in the morning, Abbott responded. They tweeted, they said, "Hi there. Thanks for your patience. The use of viral transport media can reduce the sensitivity of the test through dilution. We have instructed our customers not to use this method." This is a direct tweet to us in response to our question that tells us that either their Abbott ID or their Abbott trainer, AKA salesman, lied to the Department of Public Health, or Department of Public Health and the governor's office are lying to the people of Guam about what Abbott said.
Or they just don't know what they're doing.
Because Abbott said they told their customers, including Gov Guam, not to use the dilution. And so ever since April 23rd, when they could have made the change, but instead dug in their heels and decided not to make the change, there have been 1,122 tests done at the public health laboratory alone, and only 9 have come back positive. And for those of you who suspected that there was something wrong with that picture,
these people are at the hospital.
yes, there's an Abbott machine being run from GMH.
No, these people are in the hospital because they're sick.
Oh.
And their tests are coming back negative.
So they're symptomatic. They have the symptoms
Yes.
of COVID-19.
Yes.
Yeah, and all of them are coming back negative. Yeah. Crazy world we live in Guam, where our government is more concerned about saving face than
The
saving lives.
PLC told them via email how to use the machine, and their POC is a salesman.
But did they ever reveal that email?
No.
They never revealed that email, right?
No.
They just said that that's what happened.
Yeah.
But Abbott is telling a different story. The manufacturer says, no, we told our customers not to use that method. So that was pretty sad news. Can you come off my screen so that people don't see my, yeah, thank you. Can we just, so I can regroup with my, in my head, and because the stories are so different from each other, can we just take a little break, and we'll come back to our biggest stories tonight, which are the Lieutenant Governor's demands. We're going to talk about, we are going to talk smack about the governor, Carlo Branch and Janela Carrera, and then our top story about the contracts.
Hi, my name is Eddie Santos. I'm a retired Army Sergeant with more than 23 years, and I am a disabled vet. I've been all over the place trying to get assistance for my disability. And as for right now, the only person that seemed to help me out was when I went to the congressman's office, tried to get some assistance for him to help me get my prosthetic leg fixed. So finally the congressman had me the opportunity to go to Palo Alto in San Jose, California, where they finally fixed my prosthetic. If you need help and you seem to not get it anywhere, you should go see our congressman with the people he has there to help us veterans get what we need and what we deserve for doing our time in service for the freedom of our island and for our country.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away.
Because we are
Real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but
The truth. Together we are exposing
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together,
We are fighting violence against women and children.
we here at
Candid will shine the light on every corner of darkness. Together we are giving a voice
To the voiceless.
and forgotten. Stay lit.
Together.
together,
Together.
Together we are giving a voice
To the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Candid News Group.
So our Polar Pops tonight and a bunch of candies that I already ate. We ordered on buenprobechu.com, buenprubechu.com. All you have to do is sign up with your first and last name and your email address, and then you're in. You order just like you would order from one of those online things, you know, and they'll deliver a whole. They've got alcohol. Regular drinks, like a whole bunch of regular drinks, even like the healthy kinds. Snacks.
They'll be adding
candies.
more as you know,
Yeah.
as they're adding more to the menu.
Yeah, and they even have organic food if you guys are into that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, of course, there's the delivery fee, which is standard. It's very simple to use. buenprobechu.com, first of its kind on Guam, and they have a commitment to giving back to the community, and we're going to have a little bit more on that as well. They also.
It's a second chance program. That's who they employ, right?
Part of it, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so, okay, so back to the news. There was one of the big reasons that a lot of people are calling for the resignation or the recall of the governor, and even some saying even the lieutenant governor, is because there's a lot of things, but I think the crescendo was when last week, Thursday, during the news conference, reporters were muted because the governor did not want to answer questions. And there was a call for an apology from two of their stooges, Janela Carrera and Carlo Branch, from the lieutenant governor today. A somewhat apology was issued by Carlo Branch, nothing issued by Janela Carrera in response to the lieutenant governor's calls for that. But there were people who were commenting who made a point. It wasn't Carlo Branch and Janela Carrera who were in that video when the reporters were asking questions. It was the governor and the lieutenant governor who were in that video who did not answer any questions.
Right, and they could have unmuted the mic and answered the questions.
They sure
knew
could have.
exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what was going on.
And so let's look at the clip of what was going on. Go ahead and capture my screen.
Thank you, Governor. Before we open the floor to questions, just a reminder to please keep your questions relevant to the COVID-19 recovery plan. Also a reminder, you get one question and one follow-up. Next is PD and Jasmine Weiss.
Good day, everyone. Thanks for doing this. Can we just get an update on the federal relief benefits? Can we just get an update on the federal relief benefits? Where are we with that? I mean, people are asking, when can they avail of these things?
Jasmine,
we get it every day.
Jasmine, I made it very clear that we're going to stick with the COVID recovery efforts. So, if you
Sure.
Thank you. I-94, Adriana Cotero.
Hi, everyone. So, Governor, according to documents obtained by KUAM, the Pacific Star Hotel charged Public Health $544,600 for the use of 389 hotel rooms for 2 weeks from March 23rd to April 5th. meaning at that rate, public health would have paid over $1.6 million for the use of the hotel for the last 6 weeks. We also know by researching yours and Lieutenant Governor's campaign finance documents that through the Guam Election Commission, the family who owns Pacific Star donated thousands of dollars to your campaign. This giving the appearance of political favoritism. So Public Auditor BJ Cruz told KUAM that through their emergency procurement and during this process for the pandemic, something they'll be looking very closely at is Hi, sorry, I wasn't finished.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, so how would you answer any critics who say politics is playing a part in procurement during this public health emergency?
Okay, Adriana, as I said, we made it very clear that your questions need to stay relevant to the topic at hand. Next is the point, Nick Delgado.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a very tedious task to determine whether we're going to list some of those restrictions and then potentially take them back. And so thank you for that explanation, Dr. Hernandez. And so on that note, I wanted to hear just a little bit, Governor, if you could talk about the role of some of those, the members on that recovery panel who's worked hard to put this together. And specifically, I want to ask, what was the role of your Chief of Staff, Tony Babalta, who yesterday we heard was placed in or had to stay the night at the quarantine facility because he wasn't feeling well, and has he been tested?
Again, Nick, we have to stay.
I understand. The topic is again in regards to the role of one of the members, the Chief of Staff, and then on that note, the update in regards to his stay over at the Pacific Star, because a lot of people find that very questionable. Although he might have had good intentions, there's still the question out there of
Nick, and as I understand, Crystal did respond to you earlier that we would be providing you with a written response to that question. Thank you.
So the role?
We're going to go to Mariana's Business Journal next. Wayne Chargaloff, thank you.
Now, the governor's office handling of this, it led to a fiasco, because had they nipped that in the bud then and there, maybe it would be like ripping a Band-Aid off. There would have been some pain, but it would have been quick, and they would have answered questions.
It would have been dried out by now.
Yeah, and maybe the public would have been somewhat satisfied. Maybe still pissed about Tony Babalta taking such luxuries. But had they nipped it in the bud then and there, the people may not have found out about Rebecca Respicio and Alice Tyron or anyone else who was staying there. The people may not have started to wonder what else is going on, because they're obviously hiding something. Mm-hmm. And of course the reporters began to really get on their butts about not just this issue, but realizing that there was something deeper than this issue, because they were just so dead set against answering this one question about Tony Babalta. And not only that, now the governor of Guam is under watch from the World Press Freedom Organization, and in a league with rulers, dictators, and despots throughout the world. And so not good for Guam. It does not look good for Guam at all. And realizing that a lot of damage had been done, Lieutenant Governor Josh Schnorer, who you saw staying as quiet as Governor Dulian Guerrero in that news conference, and a lot of people were wondering, hey, what is the Lieutenant Governor thinking? Maybe he's being muted himself by the governor.
A lot of people were also asking, who was that guy to the right of her?
Yeah, and that says a lot. So, in an effort to control the damage, and I just want to say, I find this very, I don't know if despicable is the right word, but if we were looking for a leader right now in Dulian Guerrero, we didn't see one, because it wasn't the governor who went on to Sabrina and Chris's show to talk about this and to apologize. She was such a coward about this whole situation that she had to send in her lieutenant governor. Or maybe even better, the lieutenant governor went rogue and did that on his own. But the fact that the governor didn't do it herself before or after the lieutenant governor doing this says a lot about the leadership qualities of the governor, politically, just politically speaking. But let's listen in to what the lieutenant governor said to Sabrina and Chris earlier today.
Well, let's start at the beginning and go back to Thursday, that press conference in which the media was muted. We're just going to dive right into it, LT, because we know that your time's very limited.
No, that's fine. I think it was wrong. I mean, I was a little startled, and if the communications team did not apologize, they should. I would apologize. I apologize. And, you know, I think that was a really bad mistake, and should not ever happen again. And I saw the letter on transparency that KOM signed, and I fully understand and support it.
So when you say the communications team, are we talking specifically about the communications director, Janela Carrera? Because we're just trying to figure out, like, whose call was that?
It should be well, first of all, since I'm, I'm part of the administration, I'll say publicly, I will apologize, but I think that Carlo Branch and Janela, absolutely, they should apologize for it. And I guess I'll find out later today and make sure that they do.
It
that
just
should
isn't
have
good
been
enough.
done already.
It just
should have figured it out on Thursday when it went down.
But they had to wait until everything just avalanched on them. Public opinion it crashed on them, and that's why this is the main problem I have with this, because I was right about to say, and that's why the lieutenant governor did this. Where is the governor? Why? How is it that if you're a good manager, you're going to let everyone else fall on the sword for you? And I understand that when you work for the governor, part of your job is to fall on the sword for the governor. And I've directed things like that to happen before for Eddie Calvo, where I'm like, look, you're the director of this agency. You better get your butt in front of that camera and explain this before it ever gets to the governor to have to explain. I myself have taken the fall, without Eddie Calvo's permission, taken the fall for something that I didn't do. And you know what? I got in trouble from the guy because he wanted to be the one to, he took his position as as being a good manager, as something akin to being a good father. And that is that you don't let your people take the fall because I am the leader, and therefore I am the one who has to say sorry to the people because the buck stops with me. That was his attitude. That's certainly not Lulian Guerrero's attitude. Because up to now, we have not heard from her. She canceled her press conference.
I know.
Canceled her press conference.
But they want to appease the people of Guam with the press release today about,
shiny object.
Tax refunds for 2020. I'm sorry, guys, if you think we're going to believe you. When you didn't start accepting 2020 tax returns, 2019 2019 filers or tax returns, that you want to say you're giving out January 10 tax, that the people that filed in January 10. They didn't start accepting it until January 27 of that month.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're lying.
They're trying to pull the
They're
wool over us
trying
again.
to make you believe something. So they're not ready to stop. They're still trying to I don't know.
Now, I do believe that the lieutenant governor went rogue today when he did that. I do believe that he probably got an earful from Governor Leon Guerrero. Why did you do that, Josh? You say Janela and Carlo. But the governor, I think, if I'm assessing her right and her poor management skills, is probably happy that the lieutenant governor said it was Janela and Carlo. And because the reason I think that the governor does not want to come out and say something about this is because she has to be very careful about what she says about any of this because of the criminal implications of what she and her son-in-law have done with these hotel contracts. It's all related. Tony Babauta did not step down just because of this presidential suite. There is something bigger, something that brewed, and something that's the fault of the governor's own son-in-law. And by the son-in-law's own admission in these documents, then in a story that we're right about to get to, his mother-in-law approved. And so how does the governor come and talk about any of this without exposing herself to criminal liability? And that's probably the reason
why it's Josh's turn.
Yeah. And you know, but even Josh Tenorio, if you listen to this email, he was not actually very quick to defend Hai Hyun. When it came to questions about the hotel quarantine contracts, he said, I think the AG and the chief procurement officer needs to step in. He didn't say nothing wrong was done. He didn't say there was nothing questionable. He admitted that these contracts were questionable, that things that were supposed to have been done weren't done. And then he throws the legal counsel under the bus and says...
Illegal counsel.
The illegal counsel under the bus and says, I don't know everything that went on with this. You know? And it's Hai Hyun. And so maybe that is the real reason that we haven't heard from Governor
Maybe
Leon
that's the
Guerrero
reason
yet.
why we heard from Linda that they used her signature without her knowledge. Maybe that's why we heard from the lieutenant governor today, because they are washing their hands with what happened with the procurement of Pacific Star.
Yeah.
Because they do not want to go to federal prison.
Now check this out. Carlo Branch has invited all of the media to a sit-down with illegal counsel Hai Hyun tomorrow on the condition that the sit-down is off the record.
What?
Yeah. PNC has stupidly accepted the invitation, and none of the others have accepted the invitation, at least as of yet, and I hope they don't, because why would you want to sit down and have an off-the-record conversation about something so big with so many criminal implications? That would be the media kowtowing to the opaqueness of this administration.
Not all the media was invited.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We were not invited. But, you know, the jig is up, you guys. If any of you believe Carlo Branch, Hai Hyun, or even Janela Carrera are innocent in all of this, wow. So let's see what your comments are before we go to our top story. Nengen says, the lieutenant governor sees the writing on the wall and is getting ready to leave the sinking ship. Hopefully. I hope that's true. Alexia Ray says, candid news is much better than listening to the governor's press conference.
I know, right?
Joey Donetti says, Linda will start talking to save herself. I hope so. Denise Beckelinen says, yes, because she is in hot water. Brandon Kiddichai, don't worry, people. I'm going to help all of you poor people. Jacob, you lewd things. Oh, these comments are going really fast. Jacqueline Sinica says, Burao, Lysol, Lou. Teresa Garcia says, that's all in the family. Alexia Ray says, Lulu, you-hoo, where are you? Bill Hernandez says, Governor can't handle her anger. That's why she didn't go on KUAM. Dave Dueña says, manipulating the people. Jacob says, Hai Hyun does not even have a license to practice law. Kenanalo Leo Jewel Cruz says, this whole damn thing is effed up. Everyone suffers. Well, man, this thing is going so fast. Peter Lozano says he's social distancing himself from Mama Lulu. Thomas Francis says, recalled the MAGA Morana. Julie Metal says, I look we mas I kutsinun Abbott machine ki ilinalala. I don't know. I'm very bad with my Chamorro, Miss Metal. Dwayne Pareto says, where is the AG? He's been hiding too. There may be a story to that, Dwayne.
He's best friends with the illegal counsel, just to let you guys know.
Romy Belmas says, Hafide, I shared your story in reporting to everyone I know lives in the mainland west. Man, I just missed that. But thank you so much. John and Marcy Nicholas says, yeah, they all effed up. That's why now fingers will be pointing. Sandra Ray just says, this administration gots to go. Lester Lopez, Lulu eating sugar. Brandon Kiddichai, listen, Linda. DT, if Josh resigns, what is the succession plan per the law? TMB, acting until new appointment? Correct. And if, let's say, the governor resigns or is recalled before the 2-year mark, there would have to be a special election. So the lieutenant governor will be the acting governor until the new governor is elected. But if a recall or resignation happens after the 2-year mark, then the lieutenant governor succeeds as the governor. And then he would appoint a lieutenant governor, and it would have to be confirmed by the legislature. Joanne Fullerton says, off the record, James Howard, off the record, huh? Jacob says, to be fair though, Levin Camacho is too busy celebrating his best AG disappearing act award. Brandon Kiddishai says, off the record, Brim.
Chelo, his name is Leave Out.
Leave out Camacho, not leave in Camacho. Meryl Blail says, Candid, it would be cool if you can see who's watching you live. Guarantee Luliang was watching. Maybe she has a troll account. Sir Conrado Bulala Runa says, someone
Jacob says we should
Gail.
recommend Janela be transferred to Guam Mental Health to be their spokesperson.
To be with Doc Hines, Peter Santos's doctor, medical doctor.
Yeah.
Christina Lynn Mondina Fernandez says, Canda, you didn't get invited because they know you will expose her stupidity. Yeah, correct. Benny
I
says,
have to get a donation, okay?
Okay. Benny Sinicklin says, my opinion, I feel that the lieutenant governor has gotten tired of being treated like a boy, given that the governor is from the old school corruption legends. There might be something there. There might be something to that. Kelly Rodriguez says, sorry, you don't get a digital signature without the member inputting their code unless a security, it went away, sorry. These comments are coming fast. Franklin Perez says, this governor should be aware whistleblowers are having a field day with your administration. Tread lightly. Otherwise, the road to prison is paved with evidence, and there's a lot of evidence. Mark Uggins says, sometimes you don't need to be invited to the party to enjoy the DJ's music from your house. Martina Cruz, they are scared of candid news. Jay Duenas, they have personal interest in Pacstar. Yes, they do. Lester Lopez says, the Attorney General's father-in-law is on the board of directors of Bank of Guam. That's it, Pansit. Brandy Hall is celebrating our 800 plus viewers. Thank you. Jacob says, we need to stop saying digital and Linda in the same sentence. Helen Manzanoni says, off the record just means they're guilty as hell. Therese Perez says, Baba virus lo guaha mas balbat. Melissa Santos says, off with her head, figuratively. Jacob says, off the record means you all are suckers. Mark Uggins says, you'd think if he drank enough, his eyes would correct itself. Let's go to our top story tonight. The Administrator of Civil Defense said neither he nor Guam Homeland Security Advisor Timothy Uggan were signatories to contracts with 4 hotels and 1 condominium development for the quarantine of residents, travelers, and hospital workers. The contracts, which documents reveal were quarterbacked by a non-GHS OCD employee, Governor's Legal Counsel, and son-in-law Hai Hyun, were not signed by any compliance officers of the agency or even the certifying officer. This is significant because the 2 accounts from which these contracts are drawn and for which checks were cut are GHS OCD accounts. Both Mr. Estevez, Charles Estevez, and Mary Rhodes, president of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association, further confirmed that Mr. Hyun negotiated the contracts with the Pacific Star Hotel, Wyndham Gardens Hotel, Days Inn Hotel, Hotel Santa Fe, and Perlis Court. In a flurry of emails among the government's political, financial, and procurement officers and the Office of the Attorney General of Guam, Mr. Hyun repeatedly revealed that the hotels had cash flow problems and directed the government's financial officers to issue advance payments to the hotels without contracts being executed. Advance payments are illegal. Payments without contracts or the certification of funds are illegal. Contracts without, at the very least, price quotes are illegal. Mr. Hyun's knowledge of the hotel's cash flow also is questionable, considering his position at the Bank of Guam, where he worked prior to becoming his mother-in-law's legal counsel at the governor's office. The government's vendors do not reveal their cash position in contractual negotiations with the government. Businesses guard their cash flow models and cash position and limit knowledge to its accountants and their bankers. In a March 26 email from Hai Hyun, he says, the unfortunate thing, and this is to the government's financial officers, the unfortunate thing is that these vendors were only able to provide us with these accommodations if we agreed to pay as we go. They have cash flow issues and would need to pay their own staff and vendors. So if at all possible, would you help facilitate the payment of invoices? I've sent them to Chuck Estevez already. The contracts will follow as soon as the AG is done with review and all other signatures are captured. I do believe the governor's executive order allows for the fast tracking of these. In fact, it may allow us to forego some of these things as well. I am not advising that. Kandit previously broke the story regarding Mr. Hun and his mother-in-law's significant conflict of interest with these contracts. And you can find the supporting documents or the document sources for that story and this by going onto that link that we have there on the website. Because of the hotel's banking relationship with the Bank of Guam. Their family owns the bank. Ms. Leon Guerrero was the president and CEO of the bank prior to becoming governor. Mr. Hun was her attorney at the bank. Mr. Hun had the contract signed by his mother-in-law and attempted to reconstruct a procurement record, according to the email documents Mr. Estevez disclosed to Candid News. In one of the documents, Mr. Hun even instructs former Chief of Staff Anthony Babauta, who is the designated governor's authorized representative for this emergency and the movement of federal funds, quote, sign this, unquote. Among the documents in the procurement record are the governor's designation letters to the hotels for quarantine, dated March 18. An April 7 email from the Office of the Legal Counsel of the Governor shows a legal aide passing on instructions purportedly from Assistant Legal Counsel Sophia Diaz to doctor the March 18 letter to include a digital signature of Public Health Director Linda DeNorsi. Ms. DeNorsi this morning told Island Media she never saw those documents and never authorized anyone to use her signature to have those documents signed. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, in an interview with Sabrina Salas-Messinani and Chris Barnett on their morning show, said, quote, I stand behind Linda's comments, unquote. Mr. Tenorio discussed the botched procurement on these contracts, saying, I think there are some concerns, obviously. I think the AG and the Chief Procurement Officer have to come in. Mr. Hun skipped review and signatures of Homeland Security and Civil Defense officials and sent the contracts to the Governor's Chief Procurement Officer, Claudia Ekfaji, where those contracts remain. According to sources, Ms. Ekfaji does not want to clear the contracts because the procurement record is incomplete and the procurement, without any evidence of merit-based selection or so much as a price quote, is illegal. The illegal conduct of the procurement over email itself constitutes federal wire fraud crimes. The forgery of Ms. DeNorsi's signature is a federal felony. The expenditure of funds without legal certification or even a contract in place constitutes several local felonies. The sole source selection of certain hotels while others were shut down by the governor is in felonious violation of the antitrust law of Guam. And the enormous conflict of interest that Mr. Hun, the contracts negotiator, and his mother-in-law, the main signatory of the contracts, presents a world of criminal problems for the family duo in Adelup. Was Ms. Leon Guerrero involved, and did she have knowledge of these events? According to Mr. Hun himself, quote, I have acted on the direction of the governor, unquote. Now, this is one hell of a story. There are so many crimes involved in this one event. And as it is often said, the cover-up is worse than the crime. The attempt by the governor's legal counsel to reconstruct a procurement record after realizing that the paper trail shows that he conducted a procurement illegally, and after directing the government's financial officers to cut checks without contracts to hotels that have loans with the Bank of Guam, where he worked and where his mother-in-law was the president and CEO, and where their family still holds the controlling interests of the bank. This is really bad all around. And I have no idea what they are attempting to say off the record to the media tomorrow, but they have a lot of explaining to do. And it shouldn't be to the media at this point, or even to the people of Guam. They probably have a lot of explaining to do to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the SEC and the IRS. And I don't know who else they need to talk to, but they need to talk to a lot of people because a lot of crime went on. Marshall R.C. Jr. says, now I know why the ship is sinking. It's because Carlo Branch ran the ship aground. Jessica Nilo says, don't lie to the liar. Christina Lynn Mondina Fernandez says, lies after lies. Damn. Dwayne Pareto says, don't talk about Janela too much. Her husband might start his social media anger. Judy Perla Funix says, Toka Lu, it all comes back to you and your son-in-law. It sure does. Ansley Jackson Jr. says, oop, theme song soon to be, I'm locked up, they won't let me out. Kehlani O'Kirill says, this administration is like an effing soap opera. Peter Luzano says, pack star staycation. Mark again says, the talkie is worse than the smell. Denise Pangilinan. As far as the e-signatures go, according to my stepdad, who is the computer engineer for the Georgia CDC, it is impossible to forge someone's electronic signature. Jacob Nakamura says, you just know Tony Babauta is watching this story on High Hyun saying, Benetu, MF. Roki M. Nkanko says, Kandit, keep shaking the tree with all the other media outlets because we got to see all the souls fall out. Biba Guam Media, thank you. And happy World Freedom of the Press Day. Claire Castro says, maybe Tony left suddenly to belly up on the government, saving his butt at the highest resort. The 19th floor, apparently. Sandra Rages says, just because the governor or your boss tells you to do something doesn't mean you do it if you know it's unethical or not right. You know what, Sandra? Bravo. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Kiolani Rangul says, Hola Toka. I have not heard that in forever. Hola Toka. Lou, the Fed's gonna come for you. Dwayne Pareto says, maybe your son-in-law has been... I'm not going to say that. Jerry Mansovitz says, the cover-up just adds to the crime. Nengen says, guess where that $130 million is sitting earning interest? That's another story. Absolutely, Nengen. Benny St. Nicholas says to Kehlani, it's the young and the restless. Jacob says, hi, the FBI is on the phone for you. Shall I take a message? San Lamar Quinn says, and God, S shaking my head. Carl Baker says, unprecedented levels of corruption and idiocracies with clueless Lou's administration. Chris and Valerie Kaipat say, Pakitanu. Ken Augustine says, where is Madeline Berdallo? Where is Madeline Berdallo? That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. JD Winnie says, conflict of interest between mama-in-law and I. Joanne Fullerton says, shame. Lorenzo Calvo Jr. says, Puruha Dinagi. Ansley Jackson Jr. says, malfunction needs to update the Mr. Governor song. How would that go? Mrs. Governor, Mrs. Governor, who do you think you are?
Mrs. Governor, Mrs. Governor,
E-R. Oh. Betty Duke says, Lou said it wasn't me. LOL. Shanessa continues to says, Lou is going to be someone's female. Oh, I'm not going to read that one either. And Anita Marie Cruz de Guzman asked the $140 million question. Where's our stimulus money? Johnny Rosario is busy with an angel donor outside right now to bring food to people in need. So we're going to wrap up this show now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be back on the air tomorrow morning before 10 a.m., before the legislature goes into session to bring you more of the news. Please go to buenprobetsu.com at BUENPRUBECHU.com to sign up for their service and to start ordering direct to your door. Thank you so much for your time tonight. We very much appreciate it. For Candid News, I'm Troy Torres. At our producer's desk is...
And also, thank you to everybody who participated in helping us put that commercial together. You guys are really, we appreciate all of you.
Can we end the show with that? Can we end the show with that,
Yes,
with that branding commercial?
Yes, we can.
Good night, Marianas in Micronesia.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away.
because we are
Real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but
The truth. Together we are exposing
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together,
We are fighting violence against women and children.
we here at
Candid will shine the light on every corner of darkness. Together we are giving a voice
To the voiceless.
and forgotten.
Together.
Together we are giving a voice